Well, I call it a frying pan, Hilda. I don't know what you call it.
I take it you are responsible for the disgusting state of it.
I'm very sorry, Hilda. I made a fry-up for myself before I went to bed last night. I'm sorry. Do I have to ask your permission or something?
You should have washed up after yourself. That's what you should have done. You wouldn't go leaving no burnt, greasy pans in the sink if Mrs. Walker was here.
Well, Mrs. Walker isn't here, is she? So knickers.
A very sophisticated line in repartee, has our Fred. Take no notice, Hilda.
Oh, I don't. What with Mike Baldwin first thing and now him, if I took notice, I'd be halfway round the twist.
Why? What's up with Mike?
Oh, talk about moods. Mind you, I still say it's got something to do with that Maggie Flower shop ringing him up the other day.
Oh, give over with your imaginings, Hilda. You don't know it was her. It could have been somebody disguising the voice as her.
Why would they want to do that?
Well, to make you think it was her, so you wouldn't know who it really was.
So who was it then?
Oh, well, come on. I mean, if we knew that, there'd be no point in them disguising the voice in the first place, would there?
Do you know, it's a wonder I'm not round the flipping twist.
Flipping nutter. He'll give himself a nervous breakdown over this.
It's not your problem, Chuck. I mean, you've told him to have a bit of sense. I mean, what more can you do?
Hilda? The worst thing is, he's usually so flaming tough.
Yeah. What is it now? Look, I'm up to my eyes.
Mike Baldwin, you've no idea where he might be this morning, have you, love?
Well, judging by the look of him when I left, he's probably still in his dressing gown, floating in a puddle of black coffee. Why?
Oh, nothing, Flower. You get back to your doings.
Oh, I don't know.
Betty, is it all right if I nip off for half an hour?
Oh, go on, Miss Samaritan, but just you see you back. You're not leaving me here on my own to cope with the monster of the Black Lagoon.
Do what?
Nothing, Cock. You get back down the crypt and sharpen your fangs.
Hello, lad. How you going on? Hey, sir. And all thanks to you, Mr. Roberts. If it hadn't been for you, I'd never have got that job. Well, I just pointed in the right direction, you know. If you couldn't do the job, Brown wouldn't have kept you on. I'm glad you're settling in anyway. Is this a social visit or do you want something? 2 ham cakes, please. Plenty of mustard. Have you got a younger sister?
Me? No, love, why?
I just wondered. Pretty. Hey, you're not chatting her up, are you? She's an old married woman, you know. Ah, but if she had a sister, she mightn't have been.
I think I follow the logic of that. And less of the old married woman, if you don't mind, Alf Roberts. Or else if Selina Scott comes in here, I might just tell her a thing or two about you you'd rather she didn't know.
Is that who he fancies?
Oh, he's only got 84,000 pictures of her on his bedroom wall.
I've got no pictures of her. I just happened to say she was a very charming young woman.
Talking about me, Alf?
And you as well, of course. Hey, Alan. Anything else? No, thanks. Let's be getting back. I was supposed to get these from the kiosk across the way from us, but yours are much better. You put more in them. That lad will go far.
Never mind where he's going to go. Where's that father of his gone? He promised to fix the lock on the office door first thing.
Well, he's not in here, love. Have you tried the yard?
Only on my way to work. I'll try again now, see if he's there.
Yeah, well, if he said he'd do it, I suppose he'll do it. I mean, you don't have to go chasing round after him.
Well, I'm only making sure job's done, Alf. I don't want them vandals back again tonight, do I? Apart from that, I can't show prospective buyers round till it's in good nick again.
Have you got any takers?
Not yet, no. One will turn up. Try, love.
I don't know what she's getting so worked up about looking for him.
People do, though, Alf, don't they? Get themselves all worked up, I mean.
Right, will that do you?
Is it a strong one?
Well, it's stronger than your old one. I mean, there's no way you can make this place really secure. I mean, short of rebuilding it. Any really determined villain could get in through that skylight with a squeeze.
Thanks, that's a great comfort.
Well, let's face it. I mean, if they can break into a bank vault, they can break into anywhere.
As it happens, I don't keep that many gold bars in here now.
There's some very dodgy characters around these days, you know. They'll smash a place up just for the hell of it, especially if it's not occupied. I mean, you could come in here one day and find it taken over by a commune worshipping a fertility god and growing their own rice. You could have a little paddy field out there.
Are you trying to tell me something?
Only that if a place isn't occupied, anything can happen.
But I'm not going to leave it unoccupied. I'm going to sell it.
When you get a buyer.
Correct.
Which could be tomorrow.
It could.
On the other hand, it could be next August Bank Holiday Monday, by which time...
I know I could have a commune of squatters. Why a fertility god?
Well, voodoo then, if you like. Sticking pins in effigies, cutting heads off chickens, that sort of laugh-a-minute stuff.
You've got a very vivid imagination.
Well, I used to read a lot of adventure books when I was a kid. Do you know, there was a time when I fancied myself as an explorer. Hacking my way, single-handed, through the Mato Grosso. Look where I winded up.
On the other hand, you don't get a lot of pygmies blowing poison darts at you around here. I used to read a lot of adventure stories too. Look, how did we get on this daft subject? I've got to get going.
So have I. I must get cracking with that lock and get back to Alf Roberts'. Where shall I drop the keys off?
Oh, leave them with Alf. I'll collect them later. And a note of how much I owe you.
We could call it quits if...
Go on. If what?
If you call it first month's rental on here.
You don't give up, do you?
Well, at first you don't succeed.
I thought if I sold it, I'd get rid of the headache.
But if you don't sell it, you could wind up with an even bigger one.
How do I know you'd be a reliable tenant?
Well, you don't, unless you give me a chance to prove I'm an honest, upright, hard-working, loyal, sober citizen. Well, most of the time.
I'll say one thing for you. The way you bash your way through all obstacles, you'd have made a flaming fantastic explorer.
Meaning, come on.
On condition that any thieves, vandals, squatters, or assorted witch doctors do break in here, you deal with them.
With one hand tied behind me back. Look, you'll not regret it, Mrs. Fairclough, straight up.
I'd better not. Right, I'll meet in the Rovers 6 o'clock and we'll sort out the terms then. Better get back or else Mavis will be sticking pins in my little effigy.
6 o'clock then.
I don't know, that flaming Order Ogden. What does she do of a morning, eh? Report to you on whether I've had breakfast, clean my teeth, or what colour underpants I'm wearing.
She's concerned about you.
Hilda? Oh, yeah. Well, I'll give her something to be concerned about. I'll give her the flaming sack.
I had hoped after our little chat yesterday you'd have calmed down a bit.
Look, darling, do us a favour, will you? Go back to where you came from. Sure they need you more than I do.
Okay, if that's what you want.
This came this morning.
Do you want me to read it?
From her solicitor. Saying leave our client alone or else.
Or else what?
Well, I don't know, do I? Have me hung, drawn and quartered, excommunicated, deported, some other little punishment they can dream up? I didn't think she'd go that far.
Yeah, but she did warn you.
All right, well, so what am I supposed to do, eh? She's made a couple of threats. Well, am I supposed to throw up my hands and say, OK, you win. I'll go back into the woodwork like some nice little worm? I mean, it's my kid. People die for their kids, don't I? Am I supposed to back away because of some flaming letter?
Well, so why all the anger if you're going to fight on whether or not...
Because she did it! God, blimey. I mean, we lived here, right? We lived together. We were lovers. We talked to marriage. And now what is it? Open warfare with no holds barred. How does it happen?
I don't know how it happens, love. Or why. I just know it does. All the rotten time. People build something together, and they don't know how to hold on to it. Maybe it's not possible to hold on to it. Maybe things are never meant to last.
Is that what you believe?
It's not what I want to believe. It's just what's always happened to me.
Yeah, but, I mean, you never got yourself in a mess like this, did you?
Fine. There's no kind of mess I haven't got myself into. But I usually manage to get myself out of it.
Is it so unnatural for a man to want to see his own kid?
It would be unnatural if you didn't. But given Maggie's attitude, how determined she is to protect her marriage, and the baby from growing up not knowing which one of you to call Dad, it can only end in grief.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, well, people work things out, don't they? Come to some sort of compromise.
Yeah, well, you should have picked somebody more amenable to be the mother of your kid. Oh, all right, I'm sorry. You know I've got a big gob.
Nah. No, you're right. Perhaps I should have, but I'm stuck with it. What shall I do?
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm not going to kidnap him. I'll throw myself under a train if that's what's worrying you.
But you're not going to give up either, are you?
Would you?
Betty, that was the brewery on the phone, wanted to know where they could contact Mrs. Walker.
Oh, did you give him her Joni's number?
No, I give him the number of the local swimming bath. Of course, I give him Joni's number.
What do you want, did they say?
No, just a girl, you know, one at the secretary. Betty, is it all right if I bob off as soon as we're short?
Again?
Oh, it is important, Court.
But I thought you said all you got to say to her this morning.
I did, but I've still got something to say to her.
To Maggie? You're never going to see Maggie.
Them two need a referee before they both get knocked out.
But why, you love it? I mean, do you think you're going to be sensible to interfere like that?
Betty, love, when did I ever do anything that was sensible?
Oh, I don't know. Can you not find anything? Well, I can find things I'd like to see and I can find things he'd like to see, but I can't find anything we both like to see.
Do you know, it's not long since, Madeline, you were moaning that you never got out to go anywhere. Now you got a built-in babysitter, you got help at garage, and you are...
I'm still moaning, I know. No wonder our husband's put up with us, isn't he? Oh, Rita, I'm sorry.
That's all right, love. It's all right. I mean, I don't want people tiptoeing round me for the rest of my life. It's only natural that they'll forget sometimes. You're not the only one.
I know, but I...
Forget it. Look, why don't we decide where you're going to go tonight? I mean, that's what you came in for, isn't it? How about a bit of thrunging and thrutching down at disco?
Disco, my Brian? Must be joking. Think he was living it up if he took me old time dancing.
I thought that one was a right little Travolta in his tap shoes.
Was in his youth.
Oh.
Hello, girl. Hello. Hello. Right, here we are.
What's that?
A few dozen pristine copies of my brainchild, that's all.
Oh, one will do, thanks, Ken. I don't need all them.
Mavis said it would be all right.
Maybe said what would be all right.
Well, it would put a pile on the counter for customers to take.
And you did mention about the paper boys.
Oh, yes. Well, I just thought they could drop a copy off with every newspaper they deliver. I mean, it wouldn't be any extra work for them, Rita.
Oh, aye. And what else have you sort of promised? Mind squalling babies while the mothers go and play bingo? Your free cha-cha lessons with every bag of dolly mixed
Now
in?
you're just being ridiculous.
I know I'm being ridiculous. You can't do cha-cha. Ken, it's not as if I mind giving a helping hand, but when you're running a business, well, you begin to wonder where will it all end.
Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have asked.
Oh, no, leave them now. You've fetched them. They don't take up much room.
So why all the fuss?
Rule of life. Fellas always appreciate you a bit more if you play a little bit hard to get. Isn't that right?
I'm saying nothing. Bye.
Bye. Compost almost dry out in between waterings, okay?
That's lovely, yes. That's fine. Fine.
Hello. It's Bess, isn't it? So what can I show you?
Nothing, Tar. I'm not here to buy.
No?
It's about Mike.
Mike.
Baldwin. The guy you used to live with. The father of your kid.
No need to ask the reason for your involvement in all this, is there? Still trying to worm your way back into his favour?
What's that supposed to mean?
I thought it was common knowledge round your part of the world. You chased Mike shamelessly for years.
I was his housekeeper once, yes.
Well, if that's what you like to call yourself. I'm sure you did your job most efficiently and were paid accordingly. Mike can be very generous.
If it suits you to bitch at me, that's fine. I suppose it takes your mind off your own guilty conscience.
I don't happen to have a guilty conscience.
No. You're not the type of woman to lose a moment's beauty sleep over the fact that you're putting a bloke through 75 different kinds of hell.
Look, I didn't invite you here. I'm quite sure Mike didn't send you, and I've got no intention of discussing my personal affairs with you. So if you're not going to buy anything, I suggest you leave.
When I'm ready. It's his kid as well as yours. He didn't abandon you. When he heard about it, he offered to marry you.
Well, he has been opening up his little heart to you, hasn't he? Just like old times, was it? The difference between you and me is that you'd have used being pregnant to get your hooks into him. A meal ticket for life. Well, I'm rather more independent.
Of course you are. That's why you settled for marriage to a rich guy 20 years older than you are.
That was later and for different reasons. But you're right, I've got a damn good marriage. And my son's going to be brought up with the right kind of background. I don't intend to let anything disturb that.
So Mike can go jump.
Mike's indulging in about a rather uncharacteristic sentimentality. He sees Mark as carrying on the glorious Baldwin empire, etc. But I know him. Frustrated father's just the flavour of the month. Next month it'll be mini tycoon. He'll be trying to pull off some amazing new business deal.
You know him. You don't flaming know him at all.
I know he's too selfish and set in his ways ever to make a real dad. Hey, why do you think I didn't marry him, eh? What do you think he'd do if I said to him now, OK, Mark's your son, take him. He's your responsibility. I tell you what had happened, he'd be off to the nearest exit.
He's not asking for that. I think he'd settle for knowing he's not going to be cut off from his son completely. And if you've got 1 ounce of human feeling in you, surely to God you can sort summit out that's going to leave him with just a shred of hope. Instead of just 1 lousy, rotten solicitor's letter. That's all I came to say.
Yeah, and, it's in a custard powder. So, and I'll take a couple of them little apple pies. I'll begrudge buying them, you know, but I never seem to have time to make my own these days.
Why? Are you working more hours?
No, same amount. Just seems to take me longer.
I know what you mean, love. It's old age catching up with us.
Rubbish. It's got nothing to do with age. It's the time of the year. You wait till the first day of spring. We'll all be buzzing around like blue sail flies again. Oh, I'll be with you in a minute, love. Is it all right if I get off?
No, that's why I came round. You don't need to rush home. Beatty just found he's not coming back today.
He's not. He's not poorly, is he?
No, on the contrary, then the painter just feels like staying on a while longer.
Don't believe it. Did he say why?
Well, he told me himself. He said not to worry about him and to give you and Tracy his love.
He's never been able to get away from there fast enough before.
Perhaps Beatty's finally learnt a bit of sense and stopped bossing him about.
Yeah. Or else, perhaps she reckons it'll pay her to keep a closer eye on her inheritance.
Trust Hilda to see you like that.
On the other hand...
Yes, she could be right.
It's all for the best, though, you know. If he's happy to stay at Beatty's like, he'll still have your privacy.
Blow me privacy. Who's going to eat all that rice pudding?
Now what do you want?
A friend of yours came to see me today. To think I once thought you had good taste.
Friend of mine? Who?
A certain blonde barmaid.
Bet came?
Talk about rough. I can only be charitable and assume you were going through a particularly bad patch at the time.
She may not have your gloss, darling, but she's 1,000,000 times more of a woman than you'll ever be.
Oh, I'm sure she's got an amazing repertoire. Still, I didn't come here to discuss her tricks of the trade.
Oh? What did you come to discuss?
Oh, why don't you offer me a drink and I'll tell you?
Oh, love. Can I get you a drink?
Oh, well, perhaps later, Alf. I want to go with this fella first. Thanks.
Rover's returned, Betty Turpin speaking. Oh, hello, Mrs. Walker, how are you? Oh, hang on a minute. I'll take this in the back. Hang on.
Say, you'll never guess where he's taking me after all that. Flipping motor show at Burnley.
It's an exhibition of vintage cars. I'm only popping in for half an hour. And we're going to find a nice old pub.
Doing a nice old pub.
Oh, yeah, but this ain't got log fires and antique horse brasses, has it?
We've got storage radiators and antique barmaids, if that's any good.
Fred? Fred? Mrs. Walker wants you.
What for?
To tell yourself.
So, Carl?
Oh, nothing good. The brewery. They've decided, in view of her continued absence, they're going to appoint a temporary manager.
Oh, they haven't.
They have.
Hey, this country pub, when you find it, ask them if they need any more staff.
We're probably going to wind up somewhere remote on the moors.
The remoter, the flaming better.
Anyway, the bottom line is, I don't want Mark growing up torn between 2 fathers.
A lot of kids cope with it these days.
Well, if they're older when it happens, yes, but Mark's a baby. He doesn't know you. He's got no memory of you. Isn't it kinder to him to let it stay that way?
So what you kind of tell me is that nothing has changed.
I've come to make one last-ditch attempt to make you see reason.
Make me see it your way, you mean?
I can't go on for the rest of my life looking over my shoulder to see if you're lurking in the shadows.
Oh, but I thought that little Billy Doo from your solicitor friend was supposed to take care of that.
Well, it didn't stop Bet coming round, did it?
I didn't ask her to.
No, I know that. All the same, it was quite obvious from what she said that you're not prepared to give up.
Would you? If it was round the other way?
Yes, I would. If it was best for all concerned.
All concerned? And where does that leave me?
You'll be all right. Find someone new, build a new life. I did.
Oh, yeah. All nice and warm and cosy. And Michael Vernon Baldwin keep out.
That's right. Or else we'd have 4 unhappy people. Now, what'd be the point?
The point would be I'd have contact with my son.
Even if it destroyed his peace of mind?
Now, you don't know that. And what about my peace of mind, Maggie? You used to care about that at one time, or so you told me.
Don't rake up the past, Mike. It's dead ashes, over.
It's not over. It'll never be over. We have a child.
It will, if you're big enough to make the sacrifice. For Mark's sake, not mine. What's that?
It's an endowment policy for Mark when he's 18. When he's old enough to make his own decisions. The least you can do is let me give him that.
On condition you promise to leave us strictly alone.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
And thanks, Maggie. Thanks a lot.
And the soap hour continues with Emmerdale next on Plus. And don't forget to check out the website at www.gplus.co.uk.